Oh, story of my life. Story of my life.
I understand the friendship and then realize that.
And people are like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Like, is everything all right? So
I feel lost a lot of the times and like, well, what's the purpose of life?
I'm either high or low. Yes.
You know, everyone's lives look glamorous and flashy and perfect.
No, oh, you'll just get to a point where you'll just know. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've been praying to God and I've been doing this and doing that. And
I've seen, you know, the stripper pole exercises.
poles are not. Let's clear this up. Use of a pole is not for exclusively for stripping, because if that was the case, I would make zero money.
All right, so here we go.
Let's do this.
So the rules are, we can't skip any of the questions.
Okay, no pad.
No pass. No matter how difficult it is, we gotta try to answer it.
Aye.
So this is level 1, level 2, level 3. We tend to go we do 3 each of each category.
Okay, gotcha.
Other than that, I will play 1 round of rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first.
Right.
All right. Always forget. All right, this is level 1, so we'll start on this deck of cards and then work our way down.
Cool beat.
All right, and I go on bam. So rock, paper, scissors, bang, or boom, or whatever. All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, boom. Rock, paper, scissors, boom. Oh, all right. I guess you get to ask me first. So go ahead and take 1 from there. Oh man, it's been a while.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Wild card. Okay. So maintain eye contact for 30 seconds. What did you notice? So who starts topical?
Oh man, sorry. I really suck at eye contact, and I have a story why. I'll tell you after. All right, 30 seconds. All right, you ready?
Rick.
All right, and go.
I'm fixing. Buster. I never know the color was.
It was a long 30 seconds.
No leg. This is longer than working out.
Did more. All right.
Okay, I was like, oh my god. A fail.
And so what did I notice?
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to get canceled or nothing here. Because we talked about it before.
Yeah.
And you do not look your age. You look much younger.
Thank you.
Very much so. And my story about my eyes, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I never did actually, but I've always been accused of that because of my eyes. And one time I was 14, I was in a public place, and the cops stopped me to check my drink. And I told them that it was just Tampico, that's all I was drinking. Yeah. So it was Tampico. And he told me he didn't believe me because I look pretty shit-faced. And no, it was just my regular face. And then, like, more recently, like 2 years ago, I went to a concert, and some guy kept accusing me of being high. And I've heard it my whole life, so it started making me laugh as I've been telling them I'm not, which
just makes them, makes us think. And that's like,
all right. So, yeah, I have a hard time looking at people's eyes.
I can't do it without busting out into giggles.
Oh, man, I think I got a wild card. Oh, it's just a reminder, and it says, let go of your attachment to the outcome.
Oh, story of my life. Story of my life. Duly noted. Duly noted.
Anything you want to go into, or?
No, just with that though, no, seriously, that is something I have had to take to heart because I am a control freak. But being a control freak makes you a crazy person, to say the least. So thanks for that reminder. I consider that just a little sign from above.
Okay. There you go.
I know, we need what is it called? A lazy Susan. Okay. All right. Oh, can come so far. Okay, so do I seem like a morning person or night owl, and why?
I would think. Try to think. I would think a night owl. You might be a morning person, but on Instagram you're pretty active even for the evening. Either you're going out, smoking your, club, some form of exercise, maybe that's just when you're most active on Instagram, but I do think you're more of a night owl.
Yeah, that's truly by default. I was just talking to I'll care for guests about that is one of the things I'm working on is not being a night owl by default. Yeah, but no, that's when my brain, for whatever reason, my brain is on a whole other level. And as a mom throughout, or just in general, all of my day is towards other people. So at night, that's when it's like, okay, I can be me and not worry about anybody else. So when most people are doing stuff during the day, it's like I catch up on stuff, I scroll, I go through like, okay, what do I have to think about? What do I have to do for the next day? So yeah, I'm a night owl, but I don't know if it's by choice.
Yeah, it's understandable. Thank you. All right, yeah. All right, there we go. Do I remind you of anyone?
Oh, let's see. I'm so bad with names and faces, but I don't know. I wouldn't say someone, but a concept maybe for a gentle soul. Like if I think of something, it would be a gentle soul. You're like a quiet, gentle soul. So I don't know. There are probably a lot of things in the world, but yes, a quiet, gentle soul.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Fire hate. This could be lied to one.
And it was just me doing still that they be something and put it for
Wild card. Point both. Oh gosh. Okay, so wild card. Dare your partner to do something outside of their comfort zone. Oh, in the next week. Both players.
On the next week.
Or in the next week.
You gotta throw it on this, or you have to throw it.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
So for you, I have a good one. I want you to, because it's my thing, I want you to dance for 2 minutes like no one is watching it.
Story.
Okay, well maybe not 2. No, as long as that 30 seconds was, I'm gonna be. Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. You're gonna dance like I was watching.
2 ice buckets.
It's been nothing.
So yes.
I think you picked possibly the worst thing for me. Or the best.
And I want to know how you feel after. I feel like it may be like jumping out of, what do they call it? Skydiving. It's super fearful, but once you do it.
Oh, I hate this already. I feel embarrassed already.
Oh.
All right. And then I got to come up with one?
Yeah.
Man, that's hard. What do you not do?
Actually, a lot.
No.
I'm sure. And
I know, you dance on Instagram. Many dancing styles. Clubs. Ramon, have any idea?
I'm trying to shake.
What could be is I could put
Do you sing?
At home.
yeah, much to my children's dismay.
I think you're not to sing.
Okay.
So you one sings to Ice Spice, the other is gonna dance to Ice Spice.
No, hold on. I get to choose the song.
I'll give you song choice.
I choose the song. I just been trying to think. I probably don't listen. Well, okay, never mind. I take that back. I don't listen to country at all, but I feel like majority of us might not.
Yeah.
So I might want to hear country songs. Lauren.
So built out a country scene.
You can sing 30 seconds of.
Get to her side.
Nah, she's too pop. All my exes live in Texas.
Okay. Are you taking? Okay, we have work. Okay, all my exes live in Texas.
I just know it from Grand Theft Auto stuff. All right, you got a deal?
Yes. Exes live in Texas, and you're gonna dance like nobody's watching.
Does this have to go on Instagram stories, or can we just share it to each other?
That's part of the uncomfortability. Being vulnerable.
Yeah. Let's stretch. Stretch.
I want to cry.
I can't wait. Would come up with a quick close friend. I know it's sprinkler.
I skipped prom. I skipped all the school dances.
Everything involved.
I've never danced. Me and my girlfriend don't want a wedding, so we don't have to dance or anything. I never go on Instagram.
Let's see. We'll see how creative you can be. Dancing, yet as unnoticeable as that.
Yeah, everything, break dance at the park.
I'm gonna try to get a body double. All right. Do I seem like a coffee or tea person, sweetened or unsweetened?
Let's see. I would say I don't take, even though you're a quiet, gentle soul, I feel like tea would be too lame, so I'm gonna go with coffee. Sweet can come just coffee. I mean, some people do. I would say sweet. A TTP.
So by choice, I actually don't drink either. I'm more of a soda person.
Yeah.
If I do drink, I think I'd go with one of those like sweetened coffees. I do like the Starbucks drinks.
Oh yeah.
All that super sugary drinks.
Yeah.
Not like nacho, just coffee out of the pot, but you know, if I have anything, it'd probably be sweetened coffee. All right.
Coffee was acquired, so we'll go up to 2.
Yes. I personally think these are the harder ones, but
I think I have I'm not gonna say it because didn't matter.
Okay. All right. So I was like, I feel like there's a little wild on my fingers today. Okay. What would your What would your younger self not believe about your life today?
Probably where I've made it. I mean, I grew up, I think, 18 years in trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, they had your average, my mom worked Walmart, my dad worked like the water lines, the water district in Solano. So weren't filthy rich, weren't like super. I live that lifestyle of get by with what you have to, and then coming out of that, I kind of stayed the same. I worked like warehouse jobs and just local stuff around my town, Fairfield, and then now I work as a software engineer for the school district of Sacramento, and it's a much better gig. It's provided a lot more than I expected, and it's like it's taken me to levels that I never knew existed, like jobs that care about you.
Right. You're not just a body.
Yeah, exactly. Like most of those jobs, like I personally get pissed off at it because I see how shitty people are treated. You know, it's like the more you make, the less you do. Honestly, and you know, some people argue with that, and I do understand that there's a required skill set, and that does take like education, and therefore it's harder to find people that do that. But I feel like growing up, I didn't really expect this type of outcome that I live, and I'm more thankful for the way I was raised. I mean, I grew up with, you know, mixed variety of people and stuff like that. So I'm thankful for the struggles because it keeps me humble, keeps me grounded. I don't side with the rich. I want, you know, I think fast food wages should go up. You know, I think everyone has the right to live off of one job. Right. You shouldn't work 3 jobs to just survive or anything like that. You know, maybe you don't need a Porsche or, you know, any of that, but you should at least be able to afford an apartment or something without struggling. Yeah. So
I'm going to vote for your campaign, by the way. For president. Save the world. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, was it meeting to be?
Right off.
See what we got here. All right. What is the most unexplainable thing that has ever happened to you?
Well, to go deep, because I'm that kind of girl. Like, just honestly, and this is adulting stuff. My life today, I've had to, I was talking about earlier, releasing control, and the fact that I had to step out on my own. I had to make a big decision, step out on my own, which I struggled with for years because I couldn't believe there was a way possible for me to survive as a single person in California.
Because you're originally from Tennessee, right?
Yeah, from Tennessee. But so many things have happened by releasing control and relying on my faith. And when I say it's not me, it's not anything I'm doing, and I'm just like, wow, like I have to pinch myself every single day, like, hey, you're still here. Like, you're still here, and stuff is still happening and sustaining me. And so I would definitely say, yeah, like all of this part of my journey, even living in California, like I would say in my young adulthood, I always tell you like, oh, I wish one day I lived in California, although it was Southern California to be exact. But yeah, it was just when you know how you think like, oh, that would be cool, but you like, you know, it'll never happen. It's just, you know, just something I think about it would be cool. So just even that whole aspect of life, like the fact that I'm living out dreams is totally unexplainable, but it's happening and I'm along for the ride.
That's awesome.
60.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that.
In my big old age. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is cool. Okay. So has a stranger, despite the stranger danger, ever changed your life?
Not really. Yeah, actually. So to go back to it, my mom is, well, more so back in the day than she is now, if you watch this. But she was more of a hippie lifestyle back then. And so I grew up more of like this free-spirited person. Yeah. And there was this one time where we went to this free concert in San Francisco. I think it's called like K-Fop Kaboom or something, but it's free and it's like millions of people flock to it. So it's super crowded. It's, you know, shoulder to shoulder. And my mom has gone previous years, and she knew the spot she likes to go to, and it's behind the porta potties. There's porta potties, there's this long log, and then there's this like fence. But if you get onto the log, you have a perfect view, and it's not like super crowded or anything. So, unfortunate spot, but. And so we went there, and it was my mom's friend, my mom, me, and then I had about like 15 or so homeless people to the side of me, you know, and they rolled up a joint and they passed it down, and when it got to the person next to me, he offered me it. And I didn't smoke or anything. I told him no, it was cool, but you know, my mom actually does smoke weed. And so she was like, oh yeah, sure. So she hit it, and I was mid-teens at the time. And so it doesn't sound significant, but at that time, it showed me a lot because I knew they didn't have much to offer, yet they were still offering. And it meant a lot. Like, you know, 15, 20 years later, it still stands out to me. Like, I still remember that moment. I still remember that day. And it was just, like, really eye-opening. Like, you know, I respect that. And so I felt like that played a significant role of my outlook on life. And, you know, people... there's a lot of sickness in the world. There's a lot of, you know, unfortunate people in the world. But I think there's a lot of kindness also. And it comes in many forms and many different types of people. So I think that the first moment, at least, that came to my mind. I'm sure there's more. There's been people that have come and gone. And me and Ramon actually walked around San Francisco one day with free hugs, a T-shirt and a sign. And that was actually really fun. And we met some really cool people. The second I opened the sign, and the second Ramon like opened his jacket, some guy happened to see us, and he just said, "Bring it in, guys, bring it in." And we did like a 3-way hug, and it was like the second we did it. So.
That's always fun. It makes the world better. I say hugs, smiles, and laughter. Cheesy, but it's true. I'm sorry, it's true. All right, I think it's scary.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, here's now. The schematics. I can't be a game show host. Hostess with the mostess.
Ooh, all right. So you watched mine and Ramon's version of this? So this is one of those questions, and I feel like it hits the hardest for a lot of people.
Okay.
So what are you lying to yourself about?
It's so funny. I was watching it. I rewatched it to kind of prepare myself. And I was like, that's my thing. How I would say fully being my authentic self. So I've always struggled with showing up as myself. It has a lot to do. I'm like, I feel like, wait, I'm in tears coming. Oh my God. But I through therapy, therapists, if you're watching, you're worth every dollar. But I think it has to do, like, I've had to kind of go and figure out, like, trace steps back. But from my upbringing, definitely things that happened in my childhood, and I think it's definitely, I'm a Libra, so I think that plays a little part in it too. But I've seen how not being myself has limited me in my life. So I'm definitely doing a lot to show up as myself and to remind myself, like, there is nothing wrong with you. Like, you're awesome as hell, you're fabulous. And, you know, I would always look at people and just be like, you know, wow, they're living their life as them. Like, they give, like I always say, they give 0 fucks. And I'll be like, why can't I not give a fuck? Like, I just want to not. Like, for one day, I don't want to give a darn. So I've been doing a lot of work on that, but I still have a way to go. So I'm getting better at calling myself out. Like, hey, you're not showing up fully as yourself. Like, I've had to learn that, number one, who cares? If it makes me happy, if it's good for me, do it. And then 2, not showing up as yourself. If I'm worried that somebody won't accept me, I don't even need to be in that space. I don't even need to deal with those types of people. So just at my big old age, that would be it.
No more treat to you, girl. No more lying.
It's very true, and it's very important for people to realize that.
Yes.
I mean, in the days of like social media,
Oh my God.
stuff like,
Yes.
you know, everyone's lives look glamorous and flashy and perfect, and you know, causes jealousy and you know, and yeah, I'm guilty of it too. Like, I've tried to bring awareness to like depression and stuff because I try to be optimistic, but I do suffer from depression and anxiety and all those, you know, all those great things. So I think, you know, from an outside perspective, it seems like you're doing well with that, but I also know there's always a deeper side to everything. So
Like the past couple of years, and it's so funny. My best friend always jokes. So I'm showing up very much so like myself these last couple of years, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, is she okay? Like, is everything all right?" So it is shocking to the world, but and you know, people would think, "Oh, like she's always been good," but I was always, you know, I've always been like a very happy, optimistic, positive person, but on the inside, it's so easy to smile on the outside, but I always say, look at people's eyes, and like if I see old pictures of myself, I'm just like, dang girl, that's a lie. And it got to a point where I said to myself, I want to smile and truly be happy. I also don't believe in happiness. I've changed my perspective on that. I seek joy in my life because happy is fleeting. It could be dependent on so many different things, but joy is when you have a constant, no matter how crappy of a day you're having, you can find that one small little thing, like the sun is out, got a roof over my head. I didn't stub my toe at the same spot that I stub my toe every day. So that's just been a big thing for me. And I have a daughter, and the thing about kids, we like to believe that we shield them from stuff, we can hide things from them, but that is the absolute falsehood. And everything that I do, she sees firsthand. So it's like I have to show up better, not just for myself, but for her as well. So that's why I have to hold this girl accountable.
it seems like you're on the right path. At least you're aware of that, you know.
Oh, very aware. Very aware.
Definitely. I think that's one of the most important parts.
Yeah.
Being aware.
Sometimes a little too much. That's where my type A comes in, and it's like, do it with a little more buzz. Just like, what is, okay, wild card fingers. Okay. Okay, so ask a question you'd be too afraid to ask, something you wouldn't dare to ask.
So is that for me to you or for you to me?
I don't know. That's what I was like. It doesn't say. I guess for you, that would have to say. That's my turn. Or is it me? I guess it's me since I pulled.
I guess so.
Okay, maybe it's me. Okay, we're gonna make this up.
Make out a while.
Okay. That I wouldn't dare ask about.
This way.
No. Okay. I'm like, I could think of all kind of crazy things. Let's see. We're being provocative. Let's see. Sundance Film Festival.
Said.
What is let's see. What is a way that you wish a parent would have showed up for you, but they didn't? Or even if not a parent, but like somebody that's really close to you, what's a way that you wish they would have showed up for you, but they didn't? How many?
Up there. Well, I guess that's making me think.
No, except for my Barbara Walters interview.
Yeah, my
Recipes, Barbara.
my parents showed up. My parents were there for my brother and I very well. And as far as friends and stuff, I think, unfortunately, I think it's just the realization of growing up that like things change over time, and like friends that I thought would be around, you know, they tend to fade off or whatever. Some stay, and sometimes I do get like a certain mindset of sometimes I think I understand the friendship and then realize that it's not what I think it is, and doesn't mean it's a bad friendship. It's kind of my fault for assuming things or whatever, but sometimes these are one-sided, or like if I think it's a dual package, it might be there for themselves while I'm trying to take care of the both of us type of thing. So I do think that kind of happens quite a bit, you know, if we try to start something with friends and work, whatever. So I think, you know, it's probably not like this deep answer, but
It's whatever. No, that's a good answer. That's good.
I do think, you know, that's just kind of like what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Just, but I don't fault anyone for it either, because like I said, I think it's still sometimes like those made up scenarios I make them in my head, or ways I think things should be, you know, and it doesn't mean that it is the way it should be, you know. What's right to me doesn't make it right for everyone else, but I guess, you know, that's kind of what I think.
I had to learn that as well. It's funny that you say that. Realizing that a lot of times we kind of cause ourselves grief because we take our expectations or the way that we would do things and we place that on others unwillingly, or it's almost like stating an agreement between two people, but there hasn't been that conversation because a person may not be able to meet you in that capacity. They may not want to.
Yeah.
But we just show up like, hey, this is what I expect. And then, you know, when it's not met, you're like, wait, was all of this a lie? It was a lie. So no, I totally get that.
So this is the last one of level 2, right?
Yeah.
And no, I'm still level 3.
Two. We want to. Okay, why don't I just go back to high school?
All right. What by and then cheerleader over there?
Right.
What question are you trying to answer most in your life right now?
Oh, okay, so funny. My purpose. Yep, that is numero uno. I like stuff to be structured and kind of like, I don't know if easy is the word, but I like to have stuff and it be ordered and straightforward so I can execute, because I'm a good executor. And I've been going through so much of a transformation where things that I thought like, oh, this is my purpose. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And I have like a big picture, but my mind, because I'm always thinking of stuff, I'm like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. So I'm trying to bring myself down and tell myself, okay, well, it's okay to maybe go with one idea, or just kind of sit back and look at, out of everything, what's the one central kind of point, and just start from there. Because I've lived my life a lot for other people, and I want to live my life for myself and according to my purpose. And I just want to live life and live it fully to the extent and doing what I was put on earth. I believe like we're all here for a certain reason. So I want to be walking in that, because the day to day, get up, get kids ready, take them to school, come home, go to work, get the kids, fix dinner, go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get up and do it. Like, that's just not, it's old. It's played out. Yeah. Like, life is a gift. So COVID shook me and cricked me.
It's funny you say that, because I struggle with the exact thing lately. And so I'm super cautious of this. Okay. Try to think about a word. So, hopefully my mom is not watching. So I am not religious, and my girlfriend and I don't exactly plan to have children. And so as I analyze things, I feel like those two things are what kind of give a lot of people purpose in life, you know, whether they think heaven's waiting for them in the afterlife, or you have kids to raise and see grow and, you know, nourish and, you know, show in the ways. But without either one of them, I feel lost a lot of the times, and like, well, what's the purpose of life then? And I come from a religious family. I was religious growing up. It's something that I pushed away as I got older. I'm not atheist. I say agnostic. I don't deny something. I just, you know, don't accept it either. I'm just in between. But without the two of those, I tend to start feeling like those are, from an outside perspective, I feel like those are the two things that kind of give a lot of people life or a purpose, I guess, as they get older. And I guess without either one of those, sometimes I have a struggle trying to figure out, you know, what's the purpose then, or what's the path, you know. And I am a person of many interests. I have many hobbies. I try to juggle. So sometimes it's like, is this the route I should be going? And then 2 days later, oh, I like this. And then when you get sucked into one and then you haven't done another one in a while, you kind of like feel like you have to start over with that. And then I also hate the wash, rinse, repeat lifestyle. As you mentioned. So I wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed, and same thing the next day. So it is a struggle to try to figure out, like, what am I here for? Is there a purpose? Is there not a purpose? If there's not a purpose, then does anything matter? And all that rabbit hole.
Well, as your elder, one thing I will say, what you spoke about earlier, you know, there are little tidbits in there, and I would say humanity. Just always going back to humanity and being of service, because that's the thing that in this process of trying to fully identify my purpose is sometimes, like you said, kids, that's a huge obvious, you know, your faith, your religious beliefs is a huge obvious. But when you think about, it doesn't always have to be this big grand thing. And that's what has been kind of keeping me back. Like, it doesn't have to be huge. I've had to tell myself, like, look at the little things. Like, if you were walking down the street and you smiled at somebody, you don't know how that changed their life. If you bought somebody, you don't know how you bought my daughter, what is it, chocolate milk. I never give her chocolate milk, so she's probably, you know, on another level. Uncle Justin got me chocolate milk today. So just going back to just humanity, doing little things of service, sometimes that's where we find purpose. It doesn't always have to be like this big grandiose thing, but connectivity, humanity, the human experience, it's a way that everybody, literally everybody, can make an impact.
I like that, and I agree, because I do charity from time to time, and it's not something that I totally publicly just always announce, because it's not about, you know, looking cool or whatever, but I like to volunteer, and, you know, there's a food bank in Sacramento, and so I went there in November, and I was trying to help through Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it happens that everybody wants to be nice to those times.
In church, we call that CME, the Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter church. Any other Sunday, but for CME, you show up and that's fine wares.
But yeah, those type of things, they do make you feel good, and then you argue, you know, as that for selfish reasons, or, you know, you pat yourself on the back for helping people. But I do think humanity is a great purpose, and kindness, you know, just be kind.
Exactly.
Make someone's day.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, you know, to get a little off topic, but same topic, I think there was a guy who, I'm gonna butcher the story, but I think there was someone who was, I think he did attempt to jump off like a bridge to commit suicide, and he ended up surviving. And when they asked him about it, I think he said something along the lines like he just wanted someone to tell him hi. Like if someone noticed him on the way there, that would have just changed his day. If people didn't say anything, acknowledge him.
Because we're often so caught up in our own stuff that you don't realize, like, human connection, like, as much as we would hate to admit it, human connection is a huge driving force in our existence. And, we live in a society that just further pushes me, 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 me. So that's where, like I said, that humanity purpose, it takes a lot more to not put yourself first or not think about yourself 24/7. So that's a form of sacrifice. So without children or...
There's a big battery over there inside the bag. Can you grab it? All right, so we're on level 3 now. All right.
If I pull a wild card, it's nothing on it. Okay, this is funny. How would you, like, oh, why am I shaking up here? How would you describe me to a stranger?
From a few times I met you, and then including Esteban. And once again, from the outside perspective, you're very outgoing. You're very high energy, it seems like, and you love to dance. You love to just put yourself out there, and I see you. I guess I'm looking for another word for it, but I've seen, the stripper pole exercises.
Poles are not. Let's clear this up. Use of a pole is not for exclusively for stripping, because if that was the case, I would make zero money. I would not be hired at any club. If you caught my last story, you would know exactly why. Shout out to Hella Heels, because that anal support is amazing.
That's the word I was looking for. Pole dancing. All right. So pole dancing.
It's fake.
I knew. I was like, that's why I looked at it. I was like, no, there's another word for this.
No, I got it.
Yeah, I'll just say you're outgoing, charismatic. You bring positivity. We've met on the beach, but we also
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one, and then we met at JoJo's shoot in San Leandro.
Yeah.
And from those two spots, it was just like, you always say what's up. You say hey. You talk. You're very outgoing. You show up on the likes on the Instagram stories, and and that's what I would mostly say. Well, yeah, this is our third time meeting.
Yeah.
From those few events and from my experience on Instagram, not stripping poles, but yeah, you're just outgoing, kind, and you seek like a good time. Like you just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm. But the opposite of that is also, it's funny. I'm definitely I've learned it's called a social battery. I'm either high or low. Like I'm in the house, winning alone, next to my heater, doing nothing, playing word games. I love word games. I'm such a brainiac. I'm nerdy too, and it's so funny. As outgoing as I am, certain things are easier. Like I can be out there when it's a collective group, but sometimes I'm not comfortable by myself because that means all the attention is on me, which goes back to that whole like I don't feel I don't feel okay to show up as myself. It's just like, oh, if they notice, what if they notice this? But yeah, I'm just working on more of this being me, because I am who I am. I always say if I was in an era where I was reincarnated, I would definitely be a communal living hippie. I've learned that about myself. Yeah, like, just because life is light. Like, it should be enjoyed. You know, doing things that you.
And I'm similar to with the social battery thing.
Yeah.
You can have so much fun out with public, but then you just gotta go home and come and recuperate.
Like this weekend. Like, what are you doing this weekend? This is my social activity.
Well, appreciate it.
And when I pull those long ones, it's like, oh, it takes some time to recover.
At least I got a wild card. All right, both players write a note to your younger selves. 1 minute. Option to compare.
1 minute.
So we're just gonna write a note to ourselves, and then we're gonna compare it. Paul. It comes with paper.
Oh. Okay, I was like,
I would not have been prepared.
it's all prepared and stuff. I was gonna be resourceful, so we can write a link in our phone.
This is the legendary picture that we're on inside.
You look good.
Facial hair and all.
I got the timer.
Super.
All right.
Yo, I did.
All right, so you got the time you said? All right. So 1 minute to write a note to ourselves. Yeah. All right. Ready? All right, go.
I cheated.
One eternity later.
Are we done? Well, okay.
That goes down.
I know, this is like a test.
Cheated. All right, there you go.
Added a period.
Oh, no. Can you read this?
I know, like, mine is all like,
Well, I'm a computer typer, so penmanship's not my specialty. All right, so you want to read mine or yours? I mean, who reads first?
I'll go first. Ladies first. Okay, I'm going to add, Dear Justin, you're doing well. Even when it does not feel like it, things get better. Our days are inevitable, but it gets better. Okay, with your little quotes. I'm ready. Okay.
All right. Dear Candice, you are so amazing.
I know it's like,
After all that you've experienced, you managed to show up for yourself. The areas you were ashamed of turned out to be some of your best qualities.
I love yourself. Sorry, I love yourself.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important to write that out and
Yeah.
hear it for ourselves.
Journaling is a huge part of my self-work.
I've always wanted to, and I just found myself too lazy to do it.
I've been slacking in the last few weeks, but if I don't write it, I do it mentally. Mental journaling, if that's a thing. Or is that just crazy talk because you're talking to yourself in your head? Well, a little bit of crazy in there. That's all right. Just show up as you're crazy. All right. Oh, cool. So, what has this conversation taught you about yourself?
About myself?
Oh, shit.
And then about from all myself on. Just things are possible. I mean, just make it happen. You know, I think it's important to hear different like perspectives and know that it's like universal. Like to me, as I was saying earlier, and not being religious or parents, feeling like I didn't have an answer, but you are religious and you do have children and you still don't feel like there's an answer. And it's like, okay, here I'm thinking, oh, if I had one of these, things would just make more sense.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I have both and it's still a mess. So it's like, oh, okay, you know, you think you have it understood, but, you know, you don't. And I think we find common, like humanity, you know, like humanity is important, and like it seems to bring you satisfaction, you know, and it's something that has made me feel better in the past. It's made you feel better, and you know, it's probably those common things that we overlook. And I think a lot of things are cliche for a reason. You know, you hear these things a lot, and it's just like, you know, what if? It's like, no, it's probably been said so many times because there's some relevancy to it. So
Yeah, I've learned that, just to piggyback, sorry doing offsetting it, but one of the big things that I've kind of fallen into, well, just even like the experience I went through with my last relationship, people would be like, you know, oh, you'll just get to a point where you'll just know. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've been praying to God and I've been doing this and doing that, and I don't know. And it's like, but one day I just knew. And then even in this current space, how people talk about, like, that's the big buzzword now, like manifestation, and now you have a stupid lucky girl syndrome. I don't know about all of that, but people always say, you know, you have to literally almost be delusional. Like, if you're going after something or you want to change in your life, you have to be delusional. Like, you're, even if you don't see it right now, you have to think that it's right now. You have to think and put yourself in that space. And I just was like, that is the biggest freaking hodgepodge ever. But I started doing it, and again, those unexplainable things, I'm like, you know what, they're not just crazy people. There's actually something to this. So yeah, it's like, you know, it's easy to feel like you're the only one going through things, but it all goes back to humanity. And we do a lot of isolation or getting in our own heads, because I went through a period of like crazy depression, anxiety, panic attacks and stuff like that, because I was becoming more and more isolated. But as I started to allow myself to be vulnerable, to connect to other people, you learn that other people go through the exact same thing. And when you allow yourself to say, it's not just me, because that isolation creates a lot of shame, and that shame just continues to mute you and just like shut you down further and further. But when you tap into humanity, that connectivity, those two big principles that drive this thing called Earth, that's when you begin to make little small baby steps to like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And maybe I should look at that perspective, you know, like looking at different perspectives, because sometimes our methods do not work. And we have to stop and say, okay, I've been crazy making for how many years, and it just is not working. So maybe I should, you know, expand my horizons.
Awesome.
Up here, 10 here.
I'm gonna start. That's my second level 3 question.
Let's keep it track.
I would read that and just put it back. It was a wild card. I was like, no. All right.
Wild and free. That's the theme of this episode. That's the subtitle.
How does one earn your vulnerability? Have I earned it? How can I earn more?
So, I think you can get the question. So, for me, I am true Libra. I'm all about balance and reciprocity. So just, you know, when people are engaging and show up as themselves and, you know, are equally vulnerable, like in situations, I may show up being vulnerable, which invites you into that space. So just for a person to be open and to see me, being seen is so important to me, because a lot of times I didn't feel seen. So when people, you know, are welcome and engaging, but see me as a human being, that is, yeah. And that's how you earn more.
Awesome. All right.
My last one. Three's a charm. Okay, I'm like trying to learn this. Okay,
Get a wild card.
We can do it if you want, or you can get a different one, whatever you like.
Okay, so when it says partner, does it mean a partner in life or the person playing the game? Okay, so it says write a song about your partner, then sing it out loud and get into it. So partner is interpreted. So we can go with this because I know that'll stretch you.
I was like, you don't want to do that.
It doesn't have to be a love song. Yeah. So,
Just that scene.
and both places. So we both have to.
Just gets to freestyle with Beck. He used to be a rapper.
I was.
Oh my, this is gonna be.
So I gotta write a rap.
Yes, home. A ditty. I like to call it a ditty.
Oh, shit.
All right. You don't want to change cars?
We're gonna go out with a bang. I will never be invited back. Just so you know.
Is this so? What are we interpreting as partners? Each other or?
Which y'all learn about each other. That'll be easy.
Yeah, that's. I think that'll work. Yeah, like off of wood. Yeah, yeah,
So each other. Okay.
yeah.
Can I just rap one of those corny raps? Rap's pretty bad these days.
You can just go hum.
Yeah, it's probable.
Okay.
I feel corny either way. If I take it serious or not.
Are you timing us 30 seconds?
Oh, it's 30 seconds?
Yes. Oh, you write a song about 30 seconds.
It's a fast rap. And
Candice is nice.
it's going.
Oh, shit.
I'll give you 5 seconds extra.
One eternity later.
And time.
What? I only got two bars.
I give y'all 5 extra seconds. Y'all still fighting?
Alright, there's a diss at the end.
On the end, mom, on such a caring and positive note. What?
You know, labyrinthine answer.
What?
You this isn't the Candice, though. It's not the Candice. We're gonna cut. That's the answer that felt.
Oh no! I don't.
Can't believe that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I need wait. What? Let me find. Oh wait.
I find a beat.
Instrumental. Y'all know I'm so extra. You know, I am not as spice. Of course, I'll be beating. Let's see. Okay, that's just the worst Despacito. I chose the worst playlist in. Okay.
All this for 2 bars.
Justin, the word on the streets. You're kind and gentle to all people. You rise to the challenge and try to achieve balance. I'm just in your friend till the end. The first one.
I should have just danced to that and called it. Yeah, that's gonna be on Spotify next week.
Rotten Tomato.
Alright, I don't need no beat, I'll do it a cappella. Candice is cool, educated beyond school. She deaf, no fool. Ramon is a tool.
Oh, you canceled.
You said there was 5 seconds left. You said the right fool.
Man, that's a rap. We were all going on.
Alright, there's one more for me.
Yeah.
Alright, in with the banger.
Boo, Justin.
Okay. Did my those.
Been laughing so hard, my drum almost have hurt them.
Why do you think we met?
Philosophically, I don't know. I mean, we met because it was a photo that I did very creative, that I was an aspiring model. But I'll just say the good Lord made a way for me to meet a kind, gentle soul and roll and stroll. Hey.
Does this count as dancing?
You have to be on the floor.
All right. I think we're good. All right. Thank you, Candice, for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I thought it was fun.
It was very refreshing. I like it. I like to see you stretch and connect. This is actually a really good little thing. That's why I'm so excited to do it. I was like, oh, yeah.